This is CNN Breaking News.
We have breaking news coming into the Situation Room. Police in Baton Rouge, Louisiana have just announced the firing of a white police officer who shot and killed a black suspect named Alton Sterling. They also released video of the incident from officers' body cameras. Our Nick Valencia is standing by in Baton Rouge. He's been covering the news conference, all of this story. Nick, stand by. I first want to show our viewers one of the body camera videos that shows officers approaching Sterling, the struggle to get him to put his hands on a car, and the shooting. And we want to show you the whole video, even though it is graphic.
Come here. Excuse me, ma'am. Do me a favor, put your hands on that car right quick.
What?
Stop.
The look,
Stop.
What you talking about?
Put your hands on the car right quick, bro.
Don't move, bro. Stop. What?
I'm saying. Bro, put your hands on the car. Put your hands on the car. Stop. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Hey, bro, get on.
Let me search his pockets.
I got him with What's the other arm?
He's going in his pocket. He got a gun.
Hey, bro. Swear to God.
Get a gun.
Get on the ground. 1619, shots fired, shots fired.
You got shots fired, no false. We want you no false.
1619, both officers okay, suspect down. I need EMS code 3. Hey! Hold on, y'all stop! Everybody stop!
Let's go to Nick Valencia. He's in Baton Rouge for us. A very, very controversial case. Nick, bring our viewers up to speed on what just happened tonight.
Well, the police chief just announcing at a press conference that the video you just watched was shocking to the conscience. He went on to say that Blaine Salamone, the officer who fired the fatal shots into Alton Sterling's torso and back, would be terminated from the police department. And then he said Howie Lake, that second officer whose body camera that you just saw, would be suspended 3 days unpaid administrative leave. This decision announcement, Wolf, comes 3 days after the state attorney general declined to bring charges against the two officers, criminal charges, and comes nearly a year after the U.S. Department of Justice declined civil rights charges. The officer, the police chief, just a short time ago, said that he hopes that this brings closure to Alton Sterling's family, and there are certainly many people here wondering when they're going to see the rest of the videos. These are 4 videos that we're waiting for. We just got access to 3 of them that are still being cleared, but people here saying they may very well protest tonight. We talked to activists earlier today. They said that they would like to see with their own eyes what is captured on camera, and I could tell you, Wolf, from seeing the video myself, the surveillance video from the store is very gory and has been described to us as extremely graphic, and it is no doubt that.
And give us the background, Nick. Why did police officers go and approach Alton Sterling to begin with?
Well, initially, the reason was because there was a 911 call made by a homeless man who said that Alton Sterling was brandishing a gun. In fact, in the surveillance video, you can see Alton Sterling remove something from his pocket and wave it at the man who is alleged to have made that 911 call. We should remind our viewers that he was armed during this confrontation with police, and after being fatally shot, Officer Howie Lake removing a revolver from the right front pocket of Alton Sterling. Wolf?
Nick Valencia, I want you to stand by. I want to get some analysis from our experts. Phil Mudd, you've seen the video, very disturbing video. What do you think?
I mean, we have one additional piece of information, which is the police chief terminating the officer, and we know earlier that the Department of Justice declined charges. The White House has said these are local issues. I disagree. A real president would ask 2 questions, one local and one national. The local question is, if the police chief decided to terminate the officer for cause, How is it that the Justice Department declined to bring charges? Why was he fired? There is a bigger question that the White House should be involved in, and that is we have an epidemic of shootings of unarmed black kids and men in this country. Why is it? The president should be convening police chiefs to say, is there something better we can do for our country, and what should the White House be saying? This is not a local issue, it's a national issue.
Laura, you cover the Justice Department for us. What do they say?
Well, it's interesting. You know, part of the issue here is that you watch the video, and it's obviously extremely disturbing and violent. But the legal standard, at least for federal prosecutors, is not just whether the officers were reckless or negligent. They have to go into that situation knowing what they're doing is wrong and doing it anyway. And the Justice Department sees these cases all the time and decides, you know what, I don't think we can get a jury to buy into this. And they're going to have another one of these coming up pretty soon. Eric Garner in New York is another one just like this. The officer in that case used a chokehold, has not been prosecuted at the state level. No word yet out of the Justice Department. But it's clearly one of these ongoing issues that no one seems to fully realize how to fix.
Well, Jeffrey Toobin, do you see a pattern?
Well, these are very hard cases, and they're very disturbing. But, you know, I think we need to, you know, talk about the facts. You know, Eric Garner was unarmed. Michael Brown outside St. Louis was unarmed. This fellow was armed. He did have a gun. And that, you know, I think really changes things, and I think makes the police judgment a little easier to defend. I mean, you hate to see situations like this, but you know, the facts matter, and the fact that he had a gun and he was brandishing it and he had it in his pocket during this confrontation, it certainly puts the police behavior in a different
Does it make any difference that the gun was in his pocket as opposed to he was holding a gun?
You know, yes, it does, but the real issue is whether you have a gun or not. And he had a gun, and that's a very scary, dangerous situation for police officers. And I think that's going to figure very heavily in a decision about whether to prosecute or not. Prosecute the officers,
yes,
that is.
Sarah, there's going to be reaction, I assume, from a lot of officials here in Washington to this.
Well, presumably, and you know, we'll see if the White House changes their tone now that this officer has been dismissed for cause, but it seems pretty clear that this is not a priority of this administration. We've seen the difference in tone when it comes to shooting like these, and I agree with Jeffrey Toobin that it's a difference when someone is armed and unarmed, but you know, the Obama administration obviously made this a priority under their Justice Department. There's no indication that's going to happen under the Trump administration. And we should remind people that they don't view these things, not everything like this to them is a local matter. This was. Kate Steinle, when that happened, when she was killed by an undocumented immigrant, that wasn't a local matter to the president. That shaped his immigration platform.
Certainly did, and we're going to stay on top of this. There's a lot more coming in. Everybody stick around.